What's up, everyone? It is your guys over at Friday Night at the Barbell. Your host, myself, Carson Wendell, and Bryant Wood. Bryant, would you like to introduce the guest?
Today we have on with us Salvador Solis III,
Hi.
a coach out of Texas, also owns a gym, kind of been in the fitness industry forever in an odd way, like here and there.
Yeah.
And we met on the internet where all good friends meet. Definitely real people meet there, not AI generated captions and heads. So, how's it going, Sal?
It's going good, man. Just enjoying my weekend. Getting ready to head back to work tomorrow morning. Yeah, doing all the grown up things this weekend. So yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff getting a break from reality for holiday weekend.
Yeah, yeah. It was nice having we closed up the gym on the 4th, so it was nice just having a middle of the week break and get right back at it Friday.
Yeah, nice refresher.
Hmm.
So give us a little bio of Sal and Watchdog Strength, just like your beginning in the fitness industry. When was
Yeah.
that? And kind of the transition you went through.
Okay. Well, a little bit about myself. Here in San Antonio, Texas. Been running Watchdog for 4 years now. Uh, Prior to that, I was a CFO at a chain of Mexican restaurants. So I was the chief financial officer because my degree is like in accounting. Um, Before that, I was in the Army for about 5 years. So I was a paratrooper there. Um, and yeah, about 4 years ago, I decided to leave a six-figure job that had me working like maybe 25 hours a week and I could do whatever I wanted and I had free reign on everything and leave that all behind to open up a fitness studio. I'm working 120 hours a week for for pennies on the dollar. And yeah, we've been doing that for the last 4 years, and things are getting better and going well. Um, and then yeah, my fitness experience, I guess. Uh, what I've been training consistently now for about 11 years. Um, and a couple years before I opened the gym, I would invite people over to the garage and just kind of train them in person and hired a bunch of coaches for myself to kind of learn from them and stuff. So yeah, when we were brainstorming different businesses to open, one of them was a bar. We decided not to do that. My wife mentioned that, what about a gym? I said, oh shit. And yeah, did all the things and opened her up. So here we are.
The true American dream is leaving a six-figure job to make no money anymore in your
Yeah.
passion.
Yeah, kind of walk us through that. How does that work? Like, how did that work in your mind as far as that thought process? Was it just a dream you had always had, or was it just something that you had found that you really enjoy?
Um, so like my whole life I've always tried to be the best I could possibly be at whatever I'm doing. That doesn't mean I had to be the best ever. I just had to be the best I could be. And so that kind of like turned into like a really strong work ethic. So when I was in the army, my team leader could just say, "Hey, go prep the truck," and then walk away. And he could trust that I knew exactly what I needed to do to prep the truck. When I was a squad leader, my platoon sergeants could just say, "Hey, go take care of this," and like with no direction, no guidance other than just accomplish this task, go figure it out, and I could always do it. When I got to college and started working as an accountant, it was the same way. Like you give me like tell me what the end result needs to be, I'll figure out the rest. And I will work as hard as I need to. I will do whatever I need to. I will figure out every problem that will come up along the way and figure out solutions. Always very solution oriented. What is the solution? And yeah, that was, my dad was an entrepreneur. Well, is an entrepreneur. He owned his own framing business that he grew into like a custom home business. So I was always just very inspired to want to be an entrepreneur. And so yeah, I just got to and my wife is very, very motivated in the same way. So she left her job as an occupational therapy assistant to become a videographer. And so she was kind of like doing that, and I told her I want to be my own boss. I want to run my own business. I want a business that I'm putting in all of this effort. Like, I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I know I can make this work. I know I can do something. I just don't know what. And then, yeah, like I'm very passionate about teaching people. I'm very comfortable like talking in front of large groups of people, etc. I had that business knowledge from being an accountant, and then I had just always invested so much in like learning about fitness and learning about training and learning about coaching, hiring mentors and stuff to teach me that just kind of made sense. And so that's what kind of led to that decision. Yeah.
Was that really challenging at first? Like, was it challenging? I know it was probably challenging, like you said, from a like financial and work standpoint, but like mentally going from like changing those professions.
Oh, no, because for me, like, it's just going from one teaching in one way to teaching another way. So like part of my job when I was an accountant was, sitting down and teaching the owners of the company like, hey, this is how to read these statements, this is, et cetera, et cetera. So like just being very patient and teaching people processes and structures. And so coaching is just the same way. It's all just a framework and it's all just different processes and different principles. You're just teaching people and trying to figure out how to explain it to them. So yeah, it was the transition from one job into the next was very easy. I feel like just kind of naturally enjoy teaching.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coaching businesses' finances to coaching an individual's numbers.
Yeah.
It's kind of pretty similar correlation there.
Yeah, you just talk to people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People want to be heard, and then they want to learn. So it kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah. That's why I always find the easiest clients to work with are generally like just naturally more intelligent. Like, you're just speaking to someone, you can tell they are intelligent. And it's like, okay, they're going to be very easy to work with. I'm going to be able, they're going to want to understand the why of something. Just explain it to them. And then they're going to execute a little bit more like precisely versus clients where it's just hard for them to kind of figure things out. You got to be a little bit more patient. Doesn't mean they can't learn, but they might require a little more patience, a little bit more time, and a lot more empathy. And, be fine.
Do you feel
Yeah, so
like
you don't like meatheads. Got it.
how long did you say you had been coaching now?
At this point, full time, 4 years, because that's when I opened the gym. So
Okay.
I would kind of like dabble with coaching people here and there, but I didn't really have any clients and stuff. It was more so just teaching people in my garage, like the basic movements.
Sure.
And then I just jumped into the deep end of the pool with coaching people full time when I opened the gym.
Do you feel like maybe today's client is a little different? And even so, you said before the 4 years ago, you were kind of doing stuff, teaching people in your garage and things. Do you feel like people want different things now, or do you feel like it's more challenging to coach? I feel like as time goes on, we get a little more this like instant gratification. We're searching for the fix, or I'd say the majority of people are searching for that thing, the the secret workout, the magic pill that fixes things. And I feel like that's more so now than it was maybe, not that long ago. Do you feel that as well, or do you feel like you have a lot of people that want the secret, or do you feel like there's a lot of people that come to you knowing that it's going to kind of be the long?
I would say that it's I haven't noticed a change, but I will agree that like the majority of people will come in wanting to know the secret or thinking there's a special way to do things or thinking that there's a special way for them. Um, that really hasn't changed. Uh, I would say what's changed more is me and how I like how far I'm willing to meet them on that idea. And so when I first started coaching, there was a lot of complexity in my programming. There was a lot of complexity in my approach because I wanted to meet everybody where they were at and show them that they were special and find that one right exercise that was gonna fix whatever. Oh, you got shoulder pain? Here's the one right exercise for you. What are the right exercises? As I become more experienced, now it's just like it's really just a bunch of basic stuff. Nothing special. The program doesn't need to be special. And now it's a conversation when I get people into the gym. I tell them like one of the aspects of my gym is I want you to understand I don't want whiners. I don't want complainers. Like you are not going to be special. Yes, we will modify. Yes, we will adjust when necessary. But if you're not good at something up front, you're just going to still have to try. Like you're going to have to get in the reps and be okay with being bad at something for a while because maybe you're not strong enough to do it correctly or you're not skilled enough to do it correctly. That's okay. But you need to be putting in the work. And so much earlier on, I set the expectation for people now that, yeah, like I'm not going to go through 15 different modifications in a session for you. It's you're going to squat. All right, you can't squat. Hold on to these handles. Can you go down while holding on to these handles? All right, you can kind of do it. Keep practicing that until you get really good. And then we'll take away the handles. Or sit on this box and stand up and do that over and over again until you get really good at that. So,
Let's give people a rundown of what Watchdog is,
oh
because
yeah.
they might not know what you mean by no complainers allowed at my gym.
Yeah. So, Watchdog Strength. Watchdog Strength could be described as a small group personal training studio. So we have members that join, and we keep a group ratio of 4 people to 1 coach. So it's essentially personal training, but in a small group setting. So instead of having to pay that personal trainer, or not even the trainer, usually it's the commercial gym, paying the commercial gym, that $7,500 for a 30-minute session, you know, come train with us. It'll be half the price for an hour-long session, and you'll be in a group of 4. Guess what? Like, there's so many advantages to that. That small group format is so superior to the one-on-one session, not just on a business perspective, but also for the client. Just so superior in every single facet that it works. But people come in and there's that expectation though, like if you want to be babied and you want 15 different modifications per exercise, yeah, then you have to pay for a one-on-one. But if you're willing to just do some hard work and show up, small groups for you. And so yeah, that's what we do at Watchdog.
I think that's a really good idea, and I feel like that's something that I don't hear about a lot. Like a lot of gyms don't do that. It's either a large group or it's one-on-one. But I feel like that would be really, it's especially with a client that may feel, with one-on-one that may be uncomfortable. More with a group of 4, I feel like kind of like a little team. Like you'd feel maybe more comfortable doing that. That's a really good idea. That I haven't heard of that much.
Yeah, it works. It works really well. It's that good blend of, like, in a large group setting, for instance, you'll see CrossFit gyms, maybe 12, 15, 30 people in a class. You have 1, maybe 2 instructors kind of giving everybody a rundown of what to do. And they'll just kind of let them do their thing, and someone can hide if they want to. Someone can have really sloppy technique if they want to. And maybe they're not getting hurt, because they're just not using very much weight. But then in the one-on-one setting, it's kind of sucks, right? Because, say you're doing one-on-one setting and someone hits, a set of 6 on bench press. All right, they're going to rest 2 minutes. What are you doing in that time?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just standing there talking, and it's like, okay, and then it just gets awkward, and it's like, I don't want to be your therapist, and you don't want me to be your therapist. But in a small group, it's like, bam, they do their set, like, okay, cool, here are your cues, here's what you need to fix, go ahead and swap out the weights for the next set, go into the next person. Boom, here, here, here. And sometimes you can even tell them, like, okay, you're going to swap out these weights, but before that, I want you to watch so and so set. Watch what they're doing here, see how they're doing it, and then when you get into your set, you can apply that to it. And then they're kind of teaching each other and learning and
Mm-hmm.
experiencing, and the energy's fast because it's like before you know it, you've gone through 2 people, you've had a minute and a half, 2 minutes of rest, you're back on, boom, boom, boom. And we get in a lot of great work in like an hour. They can be heavier compound movements, squats, bench, deadlifts, with high quality coaching because the coach gets to see the set and explain to you what you need to improve. And so it's superior one-on-one in that fashion. The other way is you don't have the trainer canceling on people. So
Yeah.
one-on-ones, You got, I don't know if you guys ever work one-on-one at a commercial gym, but you might have like a guy at 5 a.m., a guy at 6 a.m., and then your next one-on-one isn't till like 2 p.m. And 9 times out of 10, the trainer's like, I'm not going to hang out here until 2 p.m. And then they cancel on that guy last second. You know what I mean? And so you got this one-on-one trainer always canceling on you because there's so much space in between their sessions. It's not worth it for them to wait around the gym all day. Small group setting, you have your set times, your set classes. You just need to show up to the time you RSVP'd. You know the coach is going to be there. So,
Yeah.
I like to think.
It's good. Efficiency,
Yeah.
like across the board. What were some initial challenges with opening Watchdog? Because I know, you opened like right before COVID, I think, right? Or
COVID,
during.
COVID became real March 18th of 2020.
Yes.
Our anticipated open date was March 19th of 2020.
Right.
So the day before we opened, they shut down all gyms in San Antonio. I think it was like for 9 weeks or something like that. So we had zero revenue, zero clients, zero everything, but we still had rent. We still had, payments on our note. We still had money was going out. Nothing was coming
Yeah.
in. We were denied um, all benefits or all assistance programs because we had not made any money yet. So technically, we weren't a business. If we had just sold like one T-shirt or one-on-one session or something like in early March or late February, we would have had access to $20,000-$30,000 worth of assistance. But instead, we had access to $20,000-$30,000 in credit cards, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
So those were the initial
Awesome.
challenge. That was the initial challenge. Yeah.
Just extra debt on top of everything else. How fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got through COVID, everything's been growing ever since. Uh, and I know it's definitely not been easy, but what are some current challenges and how do they compare to the initial ones?
Yeah. So we're at different, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, like there's different challenges depending on the life cycle of the business. And so, yeah, definitely the challenges now are much different from when we first opened. Like challenges now are ensuring fulfillment of the product, of the service. Um, because when it was just me doing all the classes, it was real easy for me to like get people to stay because they liked working with me. They were staying for me. I knew everybody individually. I was the owner. They were working with the owner one on one. Now I have a team of two coaches that work under me, and my wife is also a coach on the floor too. So it's actually a team of four if you include myself. So they're not always working with Sal. It's not the Sal show. And so standardizing the quality of coaching, standardizing that fulfillment, making it to where everybody understands what they need to do to run a successful group and provide successful service and be an incredible coach. That's one of our biggest challenges right now, while simultaneously maintaining that sense of community that that is that X factor that keeps someone around. Because you can have someone training with you for, 4 years, 5 years. Weights haven't gone up on the bar. Maybe they've lost a couple of inches around the waistline, but body weight's more or less the same. But they're still showing up because they just love the place. They love the community. They love that good feeling that they get when they come in. So ensuring that we can continue to deliver that is another challenge that we're facing.
So you mentioned you were a paratrooper, which is sick, by the way. Thank you for your service. Do you feel like that's helped you in your coaching, or and how so?
I would say, yeah, I would say kind of how to lead men as more or less as a paratrooper, just more as an NCO, as a sergeant, how to how to lead my men in training, how to lead my men in war, how to talk to them, how to be direct and precise, how to have confidence in what I'm saying, and how to fake it till you make it, you know, um, just and just knowing what some people need, like learning how to like push people, because being able to see what people are truly capable of enduring, like truly capable of enduring. Uh, so knowing what human potential is and being confident in that, I think that's gone a long way in helping shape the kind of coach and leader that I am.
I think that goes back to really just what you were saying, like creating an environment, a culture at your gym that people want to come and see Sal comes from that. Like strong leaders, people want to be around strong leaders, whether they want to be led or not.
Yeah.
And it is tough in business finding someone that can manage or treat people the way you would. Like they are great in their own right, but they're not Sal. You know, I've been around multiple. I've worked at multiple businesses that were small businesses that had the same exact problem. So you have the owner, whether they're as charismatic as another doesn't really matter. They have just an aura about them because they're the owner. People respect them for that, and they go the extra mile and they're nice to people that they talk to, and that goes so far.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely something that we're struggling with. Um, but just like anything else, like there is a solution that is scalable. And so what we've done is, we've really taken the time, Christy and myself, and really broke out like what are the things that I do when I'm on the floor? What are the specific things that I do? What am I thinking about? And how can we codify that to make it where like if you do these things, you will be successful on the floor. And so like one of the things that we have is in we call it ABC, but it comes from being in the army, head on a swivel. You always want to have your head on a swivel. You're always going to be looking, looking, looking. And so for us it's ABC, always be coaching. If you got someone who's doing an exercise, even if they're doing biceps curls, and you got three other people and they're all resting, where's your focus need to be? Right? It needs to be on the one that's doing the exercise right now. Always be coaching. Even if you got to walk across the gym, you move with a purpose. You walk across the gym, you give them their cues, and you're succinct and you're direct, and you get it done. Always be coaching. You know, and then like things that I've learned over time with Christy's help is like blocking, managing your group. How can I set up my group? And again, this is like in the army. Like you set up your fields of fire whenever you're setting up a position. You have your field of fire. You should be able to see everything within your field of fire. Well, we call that blocking. You need to position your group in a way to where you can see, at least from your peripheral, everything that's going on. How can you be coaching if you can't see what's going on? So you shouldn't be setting up someone across the gym and behind you and three other people in front, and now that person's getting lost in the sauce. So, just little things like that we've identified, we've codified, and we coach and train on, and we challenge our coaches to be mindful of while on the floor. Do these things. Stuff like body language, things like that.
Damn, that's a much more in-depth answer than I thought I was about to get. Like, sounded like you just read me a book, like how to be a professional.
Yeah, it's our manual. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
you can write
good.
it down in the manual. So we have a 3 rep rule. It's 3 reps, complement correct. So they're doing the exercise because you have 4 people. 3 reps, you either compliment them or you correct them. Good job on keeping the chest up. Hey, I need you to make sure that you're driving your big toe into the floor. Compliment correct, move to the next person. If they have 2 people, then yeah, like it should be a 3 or 4 or 5 rep rule. Compliment correct, go to the next person. Compliment correct, go back. They take a rest break, do your notes as they're resting. Okay. And like our coaches tell them, like, okay, cool, you got 2 minutes, and then we're gonna start in 2 minutes. Me as a coach, I know that I have 2 minutes while they're resting, go do something if I need to do it, and then bam, I'm back. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Awesome.
smart and efficient.
How many coaches do y'all have, Sal?
Including my wife and myself, there's 4 of us.
Okay.
So uh, I'm the at this point, like I'm the you could consider me like the facility leader. And then we have our head coach in charge of programming, which is Coach Juan. He's been working with us for a little over a year. So he's responsible for drawing up our program every 4 to 6 weeks. Then I'll review it with him. I'll make recommendations, and then we review it as a team for any final recommendations from the other coaches. But then he gets that pushed out. Um, and then, yeah, my wife and our other coach, they're floor coaches, so they're on the floor taking care, running shifts, executing program as we've decided as it needs to be executed.
So, do you do any other individual coaching or programming as far as like strength training is as well?
Yeah, I have remote clients, and so typically when they go remote, they fall, as of right now, they fall onto my roster because I have the capacity to take on the remote guys. Um, Once I feel like I no longer have like that full capacity, um, most likely I'll start handing over the rosters to Coach Juan. Before I do that, I need to make sure that I create a program or codify a way to program that he can adhere to that will set him up for success. Versus like, all right, you got these guys, and then you know, there needs to be a standard, a watchdog way of programming, and I need to create that for him so he will be successful. So that falls on me. But yeah, like we got one client. She's been with us for like 2 years, and it's bittersweet. But this Friday will be her last like in-person session, and she'll be graduating to full remote after that. Because we both agreed that like being in person is just holding back her progress. So we make less money because she's going full remote, but that's okay. Like it's going to be better for her. So,
Selfless, a man of the people.
oh, it yes and no, because it also for me it's good business sense. Like
Yeah.
this person is using up a spot that I value at $35 per hour. Um, so now she's going to go full remote. Now that spot will be empty, and I have the opportunity to fill it with someone else who really needs that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, if we can continue to fill that spot, then we're not really losing out. Um,
Yeah.
we're just growing in a different way.
Still, man of the people helping someone else.
Yeah.
You're just adding to the amount of people you're helping.
Yeah, if we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, kind of talking about how you were talking about someone else coming in and filling that spot. Say you have this is maybe a pretty generic question, but say you have someone that's, say, new to fitness in general. They haven't really worked out, and they come in as a new client. What's the number one thing, or it may be kind of hard to do, maybe a couple things. What's the number one thing you usually tell them as far as, I guess, advice um, or do this? What's your biggest thing for someone that's brand new?
I guess it would depend on their goal. Um, so if
Yeah.
maybe it's someone who's coming, they just want to get generally healthier and stronger. Um, my first my first advice to them is you're going to be really sore. You're going to be really sore to the point where you don't know if you hurt yourself or not. You have to stick with it. You cannot give up after the first week. You will be really sore, but in week 2, you're not going to be as sore and things are going to feel a little easier. And then in week 3, you're not going to be as sore and things are going to feel a little easier. And then in week 4, you're not going to be sore at all. And things are going to be so easy that we're going to add a lot of weight because we're going to need to make it hard again. And it's going to be rinse and repeat like that forever. And they're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
basically what it is. That's usually, I try to set them up with that expectation. And if I get a sense that they're like very self-conscious, I'll just tell them you're going to be bad at all of this, and that's okay. Like you're going to be bad at everything. Um, I'm not going to harp on you too much on technique because you're probably not strong enough to do it correctly anyway. So just focus on getting in the reps and get as many bad reps out of the way as possible, as quickly as possible, so we can get good at stuff.
You weak fuck. Speaking of, that kind of transitions to this question. How dumb were you when you first started? You've been lifting around 11 years, like consistently. What were some of the dumbest things you did or harped on when you started?
Skipping leg day,
Yeah,
always. And
nice.
the issue was I didn't know where to put the bar, so I would put the bar. Here's the thing about me is I'm not good at exercise and working out. Like I'm good at kind of understanding like what muscles I'm supposed to be feeling or whatever, But like working out isn't something that just came naturally to me. So like when I first started working, I didn't even know where to put the bar. I would put it too high up on my neck and it would hurt like the
Yeah.
bone right there, which is why I ended up hiring a coach to teach me how to squat. But like when I first started working out uh, with weights, I was actually deployed. My girlfriend had cheated on me, and so we broke up. And so obviously I started actually lifting weights. Prior
Yeah.
to that, it was
Go show
just,
her.
yeah, yeah, she said. Prior to that, it was just push-ups, sit-ups, and run because that's all the army wanted from me. So I was getting good at push-ups, sit-ups, and run. We broke up. I started reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. I still have a copy to this day. Read it cover to cover. Started trying to do more or less what I understood, how he explained the muscles to work. Started training upper body as much as I could. Put on a ton of mass upper body, nothing on my legs. So I would say that was probably the stupidest thing I did was skipping leg day every day uh, until, and I was like 18, 19. So it wasn't until I was like 20, 23 is when I started training like consistently. Started training, I haven't stopped. And so it was at 23 when I finally hired a coach, a personal trainer. Gene Bell, one of the greatest powerlifters of all time, uh, was my first coach. And so he taught me how to squat.
That's pretty good,
Oh,
like initiation into squatting.
yeah.
Yeah. Guy who
Right.
squats like 800 at 160 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
You're like embarrassed. Oh, I don't squat. I've never done that before.
yeah, yeah.
So from then, how long did it take you to find starting strength? Because that's kind of around the time we met, was like towards the
Yeah.
fall of starting strength.
Yeah. So I I started working with Gene, and we worked together for a good like 6 months. And anyone listening to this, like, if you want to get good at anything, hire a coach. It doesn't matter. You want to get good at working out, hire a coach to teach you how to work out. You want to get good at running a business, hire a coach to teach you how to run that business. You want to get good at losing weight, hire a coach that can help you get good at losing weight. Like, just hire a coach. And so I hired Gene for like 6 months, and I would work with him 3 times a week. Um, I'd pay him $20 a session, 3 times a week, and then we would train at the gym that he could train me out of. Um, and then after I finished working with Gene, I was just kind of like still just training hard. That's all it was. And then that's when I think I started following Alan Thrall, which introduced me to like the starting strength method. And then I started incorporating the starting strength kind of techniques into my lifting. And I really enjoyed how simplified the teaching method was. To this day, I still teach like very similar to starting strength for most things because it's just a super easy way to teach it.
Yeah.
Um, but I never ran like the LP or anything like that. Uh, I did gain like 30 pounds in like in like 7 months because starting strength said you had to eat. So I'd make like a fucking 1,000 calorie shake at night with peanut butter and bananas and all this shit, and I'd fucking drink, and it was in protein. It was delicious, and I fucking got super fat, and you could see the fucking trend line shooting up. I looked like shit.
Yeah.
Didn't get much stronger.
Been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There. That was the if you're under 200, you're not a man
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
talks.
Yeah. And so, right when all of that started, I started gaining weight. I reached out to the Starting Strength website, the Asgard company, and I was like, "Hey, I'm in
Hmm.
San Antonio. I'd like to work with a starting strength coach just to kind of like, get some help teaching me." Because again, I was still in the learning phase. And I already worked with Gene, but I still wanted to learn more, so I was going to hire another coach to teach me a different way. So I reached out to Asgard Company, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have a coach there, Dr. Austin Brocky." I was like, "Okay, cool." And it's like, I think I saw him on Alan's thing, but I'm not sure. So shot him an email. I was like, "Hey man, like, how much do you charge for a one-on-one session?" He's like, "Yeah, come to the garage. We'll train. It'll be $100." I was like, "Okay, cool." Um, so you know, once it was like I don't know, once every couple of weeks, I drop in for $100. He trained, teach me. I'll never forget. He told me that my bench press was the worst bench press he had ever seen. He doesn't remember it, but I do. I was like, okay, sweet. Uh, yeah, and so yeah, we've been friends since then. He's currently coaching me now, um, and so yeah, just that's kind of how all of that went on.
God, what a back-to-back great coaches.
Yeah,
I mean, that's very. I don't, it's not lucky, but like, you know,
I picked good.
Good. There's good luck. Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
some luck there too. Yeah,
yeah. Some luck because
that's
they were
fun.
both in San Antonio. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
gosh, uh, barbell medicine, and that's more or less where we probably met was through barbell medicine,
I think
than
so
starting
through
strength.
Alan
I
and barbell
imagine,
medicine and stuff like that. Yeah.
like on the Facebook page, on the Facebook group, you were one of the people always commenting and telling everyone that their lift sucked, and then I started joining in on that, and it went from there. But
I think it was more I was telling them that their question sucked.
yeah,
It
that is true.
was
That
more
is
so
true.
like your
God.
question sucks and you suck for asking a dumb question. I am annoyed by you. Like,
Yeah, and
no,
what's funny is there's a lot of people on that page that probably still do that. I don't really look at it anymore,
nah, me
but
neither.
uh, there's probably still people that do ask dumb questions, and then people were like, "Man, Jordan just seems like an asshole." But I can't imagine what it's been like for him and Austin for like the last 15 years or however long, answering the exact same questions every single week, and they're always worded horribly.
It's exactly the way we would expect it to be.
Right.
Yeah, like I've talked with Jordan enough and trained enough with him in person and Austin in person to have these conversations, and it's exactly what we would expect it to be. Yeah,
Yeah, because they're like the nicest guys of all time, especially Austin. Austin's way,
yeah.
he's still chill. He's found the zen of not giving a fuck about people, which is
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know wild to think about him being an MD and also being able to not care. I haven't found that balance yet. Maybe I will.
Yeah,
Probably
just
not.
just shrug it off. You just gotta learn to
Yeah,
shrug. I'm still working on it myself. Yeah.
yeah, it's tough. It's
Hmm.
tough, especially when I'm in the commercial gym and someone is talking about how they're struggling with their diet and they work outdoors, they're blue collar, HVAC in Alabama where it's 110 degrees every day in the sun. And they're like, yeah, I can't really eat hot food because I'm out and I'm hot as fuck all the time. So I try to just get two protein shakes for lunch. And they're drinking like the Premier pre made.
Hmm.
And this bodybuilder chick that's on who knows how much gear is just like, oh man, you can't be drinking those. They sit in a warehouse for like 6 months. They can't be healthy. I'm just like,
They're
are
ultra
you fucking
pasteurized, you moron.
I was like, "Are you fucking stupid?
Like,
Do
yeah,
you check the? Do you fucking run tests on the trend you're taking? Shut
yeah,
up."
yeah,
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 it was bad. So
yeah.
it takes all of my like wherewithal to not just jump in that conversation. Like, are you a fucking moron? Stop telling
So
people that they can't do that.
one of the things I've started telling myself when I'm hearing that is my my advice is too valuable to give it to these people for free, and I walk away.
Yeah, and you've told me that when I've asked you questions like about pricing and everything,
Yeah.
just individually, me and you. So I do agree. I think people undervalue themselves and give advice out too much for no reason without being prompted, just because it bothers them to hear it.
Yeah.
And I definitely fall into that. And when I went to the gym, when I went to Strong Inc. in Tuscaloosa, I would do that all the time, though. It was a little community, so it was different. But at a commercial gym, never. I
Yeah.
will not be doing that.
A lot of times, if this sounds bad, but if someone asks me a question, already I'm like, if they ask me a question like, trying to think of a good example. Um, hey, I've eaten, I ate two grilled chicken salads today. Tomorrow, should I do three grilled chicken salads? This is a terrible example, but you get my gist. If something dumb like that, I'm already checked out. I'm like, well, I'm not even in this anymore. I'm not even going to offer anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine, man. That sounds terrible, but it's like some people. It's like people that believe, I don't know, something completely illogical. It's like arguing with someone that has schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It's like it's like no amount of reasoning I'm going to give you is going to make you change your mind. So sorry about it.
Yeah, it's the I've had that conversation. People be asking me for nutrition advice, and I was, well, tell me about your breakfast. Well, breakfast, I just do a cup of coffee or maybe like a tablespoon of butter, you know, to put myself into ketosis. All right. That's where we're at. That's okay.
Yeah.
I might challenge you to think of something different. Well, I just like the taste of butter in my coffee. Okay. Well, then there's nothing we can really do about that.
Yeah,
Are you willing to drink it
right.
any other way that might be tasty? Nope. All right. Well, there we go. Yeah.
Nope. I'm avoiding sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to have butter in my coffee.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Sugar is a big one. People will harp on sugar all the time. It's like, well, the the it's the dosage is what matters. And even then, like you're looking at sugar first, but you don't even know what a serving size of this particular thing is, what the calories for this particular thing is, if you should be considering this a primary protein source or carb source or fat source. Like if I'm eating something and I want it to be primarily carbs, yeah, I'm okay with it having some sugar in there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I'm
Yep.
drinking a Gatorade, it's got a ton of sugar in there, but I need those carbs for some reason, then yeah, it's perfectly fine. As long as it fits with my calories and stuff, you know? So,
Hmm.
Speaking of food a little bit, I got into your Instagram today, Sal. I was looking through and I found a series that you did that I really liked. It was the protein snack or whack.
oh yeah.
And I wanted to ask, right now I'm in the deep thralls of a diet. So what are some of your top, if you can remember, what are like maybe some of your best ones that you can remember?
For being deep in a cut, yeah, yeah, if I'm deep in a cut and it's like, God, I gotta eat something, it's just gotta be protein,
Yeah.
and I'm being lazy and I want it in a wrapper, I'm probably going with the legendary Pop Tarts, because they're about 180 calories for 20 grams of protein. Or I'll do like the cookie dough built bars, the cookie dough the built puff cookie doughs. Oh, those are solid. Those are like 130 calories for like 12 grams of protein.
Okay.
And I think in that series is when I introduce people to my 10-1 rule. So 10 calories for 1 gram of protein.
Yeah, I saw that.
If you can keep that ratio, it's probably a good snack. Yeah.
That's a good guideline.
There's only one other guy on Instagram I've ever seen mention that, and it was like months after I started talking about it. So I'm wondering if that's like even a thing, or just something that pulled out of my ass. But uh,
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone use it either.
I don't think so either. But that's good though. I like that.
I mean, it's an easy rule of thumb for folks. I've gotten
Hmm.
I send out emails all the time, marketing emails. I've gotten emails back from folks like, hey, just letting you know that really enjoy that 10-1 rule. That really helped me the other night because it was late and I know I was hungry. I know I should have been asleep, but I was hungry. So okay, if I'm gonna eat a snack, at least a 10-1 snack. It's like okay, and so just little things like that. So works.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about your lifting because you're actually you kind of ignore it, I guess, sometimes, but you're actually a pretty damn good power lifter too, in your own right. Like it's kind of like brushed to the wayside, like powerlifting, whatever. Because I mean, it really does. It's not important, but it is
I think
still
you're just trying to
impressive.
flatter me, is what that is. Yeah.
No, I mean you were what 183, pulling over 6, squatting 5, bench, whatever. But it's still good lifter, and I think that is part of credentialing for being a coach, right? You don't necessarily have to be the best, and arguably sometimes the best is also not a good coach. But when you're kind of intermediate, you focus on a lot of things at once and
Yeah.
helps you realize how to get better.
I think getting to a point where you are objectively strong helps to build a lot of credibility as a coach.
Yeah.
Because I did not start off objectively strong. Like I started off struggling to bench, 135 pounds. And, I think my best bench is like 335. And even right now, not even benching, I could probably bench, at 180 pounds, I could probably bench around 320, 325. You know, um, my best squat ever is 475 at like under 180 pounds. Um,
Wow.
my best deadlift was like 635 at like 175 pounds. And all that is just a testament of do this for long enough and you will have some results. Like be consistent long enough. Even I didn't do it perfectly over the last 10 years, but I've been doing it for fucking 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've made my mistakes. There's definitely 5, 6 years where was everything optimized? No, it was definitely suboptimal, both in nutrition and training approach, etc. But I still got in the reps. And then I would say over the last 4 years, when I've really dialed everything in, nutrition wise and training wise, like just skyrocketed. Um, so I think that is like if I'm telling people you got to stick with it, you got to stay consistent, you got to get the bad reps out of the way, like I tell them like I'm proof of that. That adds some credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Uh, and you're still lifting, still getting better, slowly but surely. Now that you have Austin behind the wheel again, I
Yeah.
imagine that'll be a little bit quicker than doing it yourself.
Yeah, it
I can relate.
yeah, it's a funny thing because we did our onboarding call and stuff, and he pushed out the program, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I would have written for someone else. It's
Right,
not what I would write for myself. It's not
right.
what I would do myself, which is why I need to ask Jesus to take the wheel on this one. Um, and that's I think that is at the core of it, like having a coach to hold you accountable to yourself, to remind you of the things you need to be doing. Um, I think that's the real value in coaching, not necessarily like the best programmer in the world or whatever. It's just like okay. And so with Austin, like I trust him enough, and for me, having so many other plates spinning, like the last thing I want to worry about is if my coach is going to fucking have my program out on time. Like that is the last thing I want to worry about. And so when it came down to pricing out coaches and who I was going to work with again, I'm paying a premium to work with Austin, but I also get premium service. Like his shit's always ready on time. He follows up with me when he knows that I'm not communicating. He sets aside time to jump on a call with me when we need to talk to like figure out the next steps forward. So it's like, okay, I do not have to give any mental energy or time to this. I just need to show up to the gym and do my job because I'm paying him to do everything else. If I was in a different spot and I had more free time and stuff, and I wanted to save some cash, sure, I'd hire another coach, and maybe he's getting my program out late, or maybe we're not talking as much, or it's just all through email or something like that. I've had those types of coaches too. You can still see progress, but you get what you pay for in that respect.
On top of that, as a gym owner, I know a lot of people that I talk to also want to own their own gym at some point.
Oh yeah.
Why do you choose to lift at a different gym than the one you own at? I think it's important, and I've heard you talk about it before, and
Yeah.
I think it's a great reason.
Uh, because when I am at work, I am at work. And so that's what that is. If I'm at Watchdog, I'm thinking about did I change out the AC filters? Are the toilet paper rolls need to get swapped out? That trash is overflowing, it needs to get taken out. Did I remember to process so and so's payment? Oh, I got an idea for a tutorial video. Let me stop everything to set up a camera and put on my mic so I can do a tutorial video and I can really take my time to do multiple takes and stuff because I can talk as loud as I want. It's like that place is not the place that I go to work out. That is the place I go to work. And so, yeah, I go to like a Gold's Gym or a Crunch. The equipment sucks. Machines are fine. Um, but yeah, it's so that way I can go and I can dial in and I can take that time for me to do what I want to do and still have fun. A big reason of it. And the other part is like it is a bit distracting if I try to, well, one, if I train at Watchdog in hours that make sense, I'm training by myself and I'm alone. And I don't like training alone. I like being around people. I like talking to people. I like just being in a social environment. And then if I do train during my sessions, so if say I'm training during a class because one of the other coaches is running the floor, it can be a little distracting for people. You got someone who's really they're working with a 6 kilo kettlebell, trying to learn how to squat all the way down without like tipping forward and stuff. And Sal's next to them loading 435 pounds after like 3 warm up sets. You know what I mean? And it's like it's a little
Yeah.
distracting. And so you know, I try not to train at the gym during classes as much as I can. Recently, I've been dropping in on a few classes to train, but it's just to do like one thing, get it done, and get out. So yeah.
I
And
mean,
so many times I've watched our gym owner, the new one, Brian, but Like in the mornings, I go early in the mornings, and he'll be like working out. He'll do a set of like curls. He'll go put the towels in the washer, come out, taking the garbage out. He comes back to the mirror, does another set of curls. He goes there. It's like
Yeah.
constant
Yeah.
everywhere. Which I mean, I guess that's your thing, but it does seem pretty distracting.
I would say that time that I take for myself in the gym, as challenging or as stressful as like owning a business has been, and how detrimental certain phases of the business have been to like my own like mental health, like being able to step out and be like just present in the moment and focus on this thing, is very, very therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's just mindfulness, right? Focusing on the thing that you're doing at the moment and the things that you can control at the moment. And uh, for a good portion, like of being a gym owner for so far, like that's really all I had control over. And so it's just, yeah.
I think it's good information. I know, like I said, quite a few people that I know want to open gyms, and I know when I worked at the gym, it's a smaller private gym, I guess you could say. So I don't know. They probably have what, like 100 members across everything. I would imagine it's strong. Carson, what do you think? 100 members, maybe?
I'd say probably more, but I would say at any given time, there's probably at the most you may see like 15 to
Yeah.
16 people in there at once.
So it's not super busy. It's pretty big gym for 15 people. Like you might see 3 people at a time with 15 people at the gym, like depending on where you're at. And I know for me, just working there and then trying to work out afterwards, and I coach people at the gym, I was like, ended up getting there at 10 o'clock and leaving at 10 o'clock. It was like 12 hours, even though I got off at 6. Because like 4 hours of that was me trying to work out. And I would start working out before I got off work to start getting it in before people started coming in. And then it'd be like 4 hours of me just helping and watching and cleaning up and whatever. And I know someone opening their own gym would definitely run into the same shit, if
Yeah.
not worse. Because
Oh,
they're
yeah.
probably going to be there from 8 to 10, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. Just trying to keep it clean, just trying to work out the kinks. Plus, if they try and work out, when do they fit that in? I think going to another gym is probably the better option. And to be honest, for you, it's probably decent marketing.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I've ever like acquired a client, because I don't really talk to anyone when I'm at the gym. So I don't think I've ever acquired a client or a lead when I'm at the gym, but that's like the last thing on my mind. Um,
That's fair.
but yeah, I could definitely see, yeah, it's like if you're working out at work and then, someone has a billing question, like you're not gonna not stop what you're doing.
Right.
The worst thing that happened is, you're in the middle of a great workout and stuff and you feel good and you're like, man, and then, oh, hey, Sal, can I talk with you real quick? Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to cancel. That's a quick way to like just, ruin your whole mood. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
at least when I see that text, like I can just ignore the text and it's like, I'll get to it in an hour. And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so,
I definitely had that happen to me before.
hmm
Absolutely.
yeah.
Even off the clock, like
hmm
when I'm trying to work out and it's like, hey, I need to go ahead and cancel my membership. Like, well, I'm in the middle of something. Can you come back tomorrow? Like, you
Yeah.
need to cancel it right now.
Yep.
We're not going to pull your money till the end of the month. You're good.
Yep.
I have to cancel it right now. If I see one more dumbbell, I'm I see
I
one
said,
dumbbell.
Yeah.
well, honestly, I'm in the middle of a squat, so go ahead.
Yep.
Do it out back so I don't have to clean up. Do you have any tips and tricks for any clients or yourself or anyone when they go on vacation if they're trying to maintain their diet?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think that's a big one. A lot of people struggle with.
Yeah.
Especially during
I
summertime.
think that falls more in like Christy's realm, because Christy's my wife and she's like our nutrition coach. She's my nutrition coach. Um, and so like sometimes it just depends on, from what I understand, it just depends on like what the goal is. Because like if you're going on vacation and you're going to be on vacation for a week, but you're 7 weeks out from a show, Guess what, bro? You better fucking schedule some time to go to the grocery store, buy the shit you need to buy, put it in the refrigerator. You're packing a scale. You are gonna, everything you guys are planning on doing needs to be around movement and activity. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you have no choice. You have no choice because you have a deadline and you have a show and you have something you committed to be successful at. You need to make that shit happen. Okay, so we've got at that end of the spectrum. But then you have on the other end of the spectrum, someone's already finished their diet. They've just lost a ton of weight because they were getting ready to go to the beach. And it's like, okay, so like what am I going to do with my nutrition while I'm at the beach to show off this body that I worked so hard for? I don't know, just be a little bit more mindful, like maybe limit the trips to the buffet to two instead of, eight, like, if everything in moderation's fine, but just focus on enjoying your vacation, and if you're with a group or a partner, like maybe you can do some hacks. Like Christy and I, when we go, we'll order one plate and we'll kind of split that. And we'll be okay with like, hey, we don't have to eat all of it. Like I just wanted to taste these souffle pancakes or whatever. And I got two bites out of it. That was great. The rest is yours. You have it, whatever. Be okay with, being okay with like wasting food, if you will. That's something like, you'd be okay with wasting food. Or on the other extreme, like you're just not worried about it. and
Yeah.
when you get back, just get right back on track. So I guess it just depends on where someone's at, what their goal is, and what their time frame and stuff looks like. Yeah.
No, I think that's good. That's probably what I would tell someone too.
Yeah.
Just any of those, I think are good. If it does depend on if someone is as hardcore as suck it up. Don't be a bitch. Just don't eat like a
Only
fucking fat ass.
Yeah. I've given some guys that advice. Hey, like just don't
Yeah.
eat like an asshole. Just don't eat like an, and you know what that is intuitively.
yeah.
You know what that is. But
Um,
again, it's like what is the goal, Like if you're 7 weeks out from a show, you got different stuff, and it's not about you. It's about doing your best at the show. But if it's like, yeah, I've just been on this weight loss journey, and like I have no real end, I have like a goal weight in mind, but I don't really have a time frame that I have to make it there. I'm gonna go on a cruise. Okay, go on your cruise, enjoy your cruise.
It'd be very tough to be like, don't enjoy your vacation.
Yeah. That's,
Suffer.
yeah, it's like I got one guy, he's going to Italy this week. And so I programmed out his Monday, Tuesday workout. And then I just plugged in um, 5 sets of max push-ups twice a week for while he's out. I told him, it's in the app.
Nice.
It should only take you 20 minutes. Don't worry about anything else. You're going to be up, walking, doing all kinds of stuff. And the only reason I'm even programming out these push-ups is because we have that pound bench press competition coming up in October that we've been preparing for. So at least that way you don't undertrain too much while you're away for 2 weeks. You're just doing some push-ups. When you come back, we'll get right back to it.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah. I like it. Keeping them on track. Keeping them honest without making them do a lot.
Yeah. Would say if you're thinking about opening a gym, like you got to decide, like, is that gym supposed to be your primary source of income? Or is it just like a part-time thing? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be working in the oil fields for weeks at a time, and this is just gonna be a gym that I own back home. And it's like, you know, I guess I guess it'd be important to find out like if it's like a part-time thing, like why? Because
yeah.
like
Hmm.
you have this gym, people go to a gym to change their lives. People go to the gym to make themselves better. People go to the gym to improve themselves. This is, and you guys know it, it can become a very, very central part to someone's life. So like, is it really like, should you really just open it as like a side project? Should you really
Right.
look at it like
Yeah.
as like this thing? Like, hey man, if you're gonna do it, be serious about it. Like, and if it's gonna be to support yourself, then you need to like build out the gym in a way that it will generate revenue. Like 1 second, my dog wants to jump up with me. Um, so like, you'll have like I know guys who own gyms and hey, what do you want your gym to be? I want my gym to be known as like we're the strongest guys in San Antonio and they talk all those motherfuckers over at there, they're crazy, they're so strong, blah blah blah. Like they're just talking about how they want to look to the outside world, right? And so they open a gym and it's an open gym model and people are paying like $60 a month. And, it's like barely making it.
Mm-hmm.
You got like 100, 120 people at $60 a month. You got like five different personal trainers that are, paying you $500 a month in rent or something like that. And, they're building their businesses like, like under your roof. And it's like what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you got guys running their own businesses under your roof, making more money than you. Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't get it. You know?
Yeah.
So, I think for small guys, like small independent gyms, unless you're like super specialized, and there's a need for it, like a Texas Strength Systems or whatever, like a super specialized powerlifting gym, like even then it's going to be hard to like make ends meet. Um,
Yeah.
so you just kind of think about it, think about what you're doing.
Yeah. I don't think people realize that part of it. It's like you also have, almost no matter where you're at now, you also have Planet Fitness and Crunch down the street. They charge $10 a month and have everything someone needs.
Yep.
Like, how are you really setting yourself different? Even if you're specialized, is
Yeah.
there enough people in the market for a specialized gym?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's all these things that maybe people don't consider at first.
Yeah. It just doesn't. That's why we don't do open gym memberships. Like a few people at my gym have open gym. They're remote clients that pay some extra money every month so they can go into the gym when I don't have classes or over the weekend when I don't have classes. But outside of that, it's everything is small group. Um, because it's like there's these are people that want structure and we're providing them exactly with what they want. And so we are being that thing that is special in helping to change someone's life
Yeah.
versus they're just renting my shit. So
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like helping push them towards that goal of a full lifestyle change.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, we have members who've lost like 95 pounds, 85 pounds. I have members who were scared to squat a 15-pound barbell,
Mm-hmm.
just signed up for our mock meet that we'll have in 10 weeks, hoping to be able to squat, starting with 15 pounds. Now they're squatting 135 pounds, like
Yeah.
just like that doesn't happen at Planet Fitness,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you know?
Fact.
So how are you going to make yourself special? And how are you going to charge enough money to give you the energy to continue to do this? Because if your rent is 1,500 a month and your electric is $1,000 a month, and then repairs and maintenance is another 500, so you're looking at 3 grand out the door, and you're charging $30 a membership. Okay, you need 100 members just to cover the basics. We're not even talking insurance, utilities, marketing, anything like that. You need 100 members at $30.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll charge 60. All right, you got 50 members. So now, like, say you're at 100 at 60, now you got 6 grand. Maybe you're taking home 2 grand a month. Like, how long do you think you're gonna last like that before you burn out and you don't want to fucking do it anymore?
Yeah.
And what I've noticed the longer I'm in this is if you see a gym that's hanging out for longer than 5 years, it's very unlikely that that's the same owner after 5 years. These guys hang out 5 years because they do the same crap. They burn out because they can't make enough money, and then they end up selling the gym to some other guy just to repeat all the same mistakes. Yeah, that gym's been around for 15 years. Yeah, it's gone through 6 different owners. That is, they're not doing anything to provide enough of a service or value to people to be able to charge enough to be willing to do it.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of businesses in general. A lot of people think they can just passively make income by owning a business. It's so strange. That only maybe happens in like higher end fast food chains where you just hire out the ass nonstop and like you can just print money. Other than that, a lot of those people had to work a lot of hours to get to that point anyways. So like to open Chick-fil-A, I don't know how it is now, but to open a Chick-fil-A, you had to have like $1 million cash in the bank
Yep.
and not have another franchise under your name. So it's like these people know what they're doing by the time they get to that point.
Yeah, and
You can't just open a private gym and then expect it to print money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
Yeah.
and how do you scale it? How do you build it? Like, so
Right.
what we're building at Watchdog, hopefully we get to a point where, everything is so systematized and scalable, and we have processes and stuff for training and fulfillment, that if we decide we want to open a second location, we can open a second location and train someone up on how to run that location, and open a
Yeah.
third and a fourth and a fifth. It's like, okay, then at some point, I'm no longer, uh, I'm no longer in the business of running a gym. I'm in the business of opening gyms. There's a distinction there.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but you have to build out, and this is something that I've learned like over these last 4 years. Something my wife had harped on me early on about, like, being too complex with stuff, not making it simple enough so that we can scale it up. And it was like pulling teeth out of me because I wanted it to be the Sal show, but taking it back, simplifying it, making it towards something repeatable, and it's scalable and growable and profitable. Um,
Yeah.
and so, like, yeah, it's just one thing. Like, these guys want to open gyms, or they buy a CrossFit gym or whatever, and they run it the same exact way, and they shut it down in 5 years, or they sell it in 5 years, and it's like, who did you help? Who did you really help?
Yeah.
Like, what life did you change? You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You'll have people, instead of coming to the Sal show, they have to come because it's Watchdog.
yeah,
Right. That'd be the difference. Like, I don't know many people that go to Crunch because it's Crunch.
yeah,
It's like, I
yeah,
go to Crunch because it's cheap. That's literally what everyone says.
exactly. But they come to Watchdog. They're coming because, well, we know it's good.
Right.
Doesn't matter which location I go to. I know it's good. That's why
Yes.
people go to Costco, right? You walk in any Costco around the country, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Sam's, McDonald's when it used to be better, but for better or for worse, you know what to expect when you walk into a McDonald's or a Little Caesars or
Yes.
any of these larger multi-billion dollar companies. It's scalable processes and systems,
Hmm.
something that's reliable, that'll get the job done and worth the money. So,
Yeah.
but that's why you see a lot of pushback on McDonald's and stuff right now, right? Because now they're just overpriced. You're giving you shit
Yes.
and it's overpriced. It's like, well, pick one.
Yeah.
Raise the quality of the service and fulfillment, or lower the price. You can't have it both ways. So,
I think in your case, one of the things I see the most is push for the processes and systems that make it scalable while still keeping that like family community environment. It's a very difficult balance, but if you can find that, you'll be golden.
even with that, that's a process. It's just finding the right processes and systems for that.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, we
for
know
sure.
everybody's birthday. They get a birthday email that goes out 1 week before their birthday that all the coaches are CC'd on. The clock starts. We got 7 days to get their birthday card ready and get all the stuff, so that way when they come in, they get their free chocolate milk and they get their birthday card, and everybody's saying happy birthday because we've been thinking about it all week.
Yeah.
It's a process. It's a system where Christy pulls reports every week. Who hasn't shown up to class in 7 days? They're getting called. They're getting a text message. She's got like 5 pages worth of pre-written text messages that she just needs to copy and paste that text message and send it to that person to get them to sign back up for their classes and show up. It's a process and a system, open lines of communication where, they're doing their check-ins every 2 weeks. I pay Juan to review the check-ins and respond via Loom video to every single check-in. But and he updates that on a spreadsheet. He includes the link on the Loom video, so if I need to verify, I can still see what he's saying and what they're doing and stuff like that. It's a process, it's a system. Just different things, like also just being at a point where you can still give a shit. So
Yeah.
as a facility leader with less than 150 members, we're still at a point where they can text me directly. And I had a member text me today that she's not going on Monday because she tweaked her back on Saturday. Hey, do you mind if I give you a call real quick? Gave her a call, talked with her, figured out, but at least I showed that I cared enough to do it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And when I'm no longer the facility manager and someone else is in my role, guess what? That's part of your fucking job.
Yeah.
They're gonna, your phone is gonna be where they're gonna text directly, and that's part of your job, giving a shit. And so I think you can keep community so long as you always give a shit.
Yeah. I agree.
Me too.
That's part of it.
So Sal, let us know where we can find you, where the people can find you, our mobs that are just gonna form into you.
Find my Instagram at Joe Biden POTUS. All the bammers just started rage.
Listen, they are freaking out right now. Okay, they're freaking out.
No,
They
it's been
think
Joe
they already
Biden
won.
this whole time.
Yeah, it's the AI. The AI face mask over Joe Biden. And you know what? You've given a great interview, way better than his fucking debate the other day. So
that's what I heard. I can tell from the memes that it was pretty bad.
I didn't watch it, but goddamn, the highlights are so
Yeah,
funny.
the highlights are sick, dude.
Not as bad.
Yeah, but you
That's
can
good.
find us at Watchdog Strength on Instagram. You can find me Sal _ Watchdog Strength. But if you just find the main Watchdog Strength page, you'll see us. We tag all the coaches all the time. If you're interested in learning about what we do, you can go to the website www.watchdogstrength.com. So if you're interested in like remote coaching or anything like that, we offer that through there. Or if you just know someone who's in San Antonio that, hey, I heard about this gym in San Antonio, you should check it out. Send them the website. The website's great. It does a good job of getting people to reach out. And yeah, our YouTube page, our TikTok, all Watchdog Strength. I try to put out educational shorts, like technique stuff or just quick mindset things. And the longer form content, usually that's my wife. She's putting out nutrition advice, grocery haul videos, recipe guides, stuff like that.
I really highly recommend everybody check out Sal's stuff. Especially, I got on the Instagram today and I just like scrolled for a long time. Like all the form stuff is really good, a lot of really good information. But Sal, I really want to say thank you so much for coming on here and doing this with us, spending some time out of, I know you're probably busy schedule. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. That was your Friday night at the barbell. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Hey everybody, just wanted to come on and thank you for watching or listening to the podcast wherever you get podcasts at. If you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like, a follow, and a rating on whatever service you use. We'd really appreciate that. And you can let us know in any of the text boxes or comments or on Instagram, wherever you can. Let us know who you might want to see on the podcast next. We're going to try and make that happen. We got a lot of good guests coming for the rest of this year in 2024. And if we can make some of your suggestions possible, we want to do that for you. All right. Thanks. Appreciate you guys.